but marketing is how people find you. Branding is why people buy you.
Hello, Powerful entrepreneurs and thought leaders. I am so excited. We have a very special guest today, and we're going to talk for you guys manufacturing out there who's really building a brand of products to sell. We have a special guest, and her name is Maureen Mwangi. Maureen is a brand strategist, and she's actually the person behind some very major brands like L'Oreal, Chobani, Dove, and you guys have all heard of Lay's, those wonderful potato chips. Well, Maureen is the mastermind behind the brand. She's the creator of Big Brand Academy, the Product Profit Lab, and Stewart Consulting, which is a consulting firm dedicated to teaching product-based entrepreneurs the sales and marketing strategies that they need to scale with scientific precision so that they can turn their product brands into household names. And Maureen's zone of genius is her rare ability to connect with her market and turn data into brand growth strategies that drive multi-million-dollar growth. Her nonprofit organization, which is Taji Foundation, supports boys that are in Kenya, and it helps them get the education that they need to really lift their families out of poverty and build generational wealth. Please join me in welcoming Maureen to our platform. Hey, Maureen, how are you?
Hey, Susanne, I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be an amazing session.
We're excited to have you. I mean, come on now. We are all looking to build brands, and especially product brands, and to pick your brain, especially with your reputation. We are extremely excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Maureen, how did you get into the space?
Oh my God, what an amazing question. So my journey to entrepreneurship started at the dinner table with my parents as I was growing up. So my parents ran a product-based business in Kenya, which is synonymous to a Home Depot. If you're in Texas, Nebraska Furniture Mart is the similar business my parents have in Kenya. And they constantly talked about business. And they've been running this for over 25 years. And halfway through their journey, their sales plateaued. They were like, we've done everything. We've been importing from China. We're trying to get our customers, but we feel like our marketing is off. So my mom would always tell me, I think one of my children needs to be a marketer so that we can understand what does marketing look like. And so that's how I started this journey, went to school. Actually, I did a bachelor's in finance, then graduated and did a master's in marketing analytics in the US. And when you join marketing analytics programs in the US, you actually realize they don't teach you marketing, they teach you how to analyze data. And soon after, started working for Nielsen, the market research company. And after working for Nielsen, jumped into working for PepsiCo, where I was working with the Frito-Lay wing of their business. And that's how I got into branding. And it all started from me pursuing marketing analytics, which led me to being a good data scientist, good data strategist, and now a good marketing consultant.
That is amazing. And what incredible expertise that you had. I think that's so neat. If any of you guys have ever done the Nielsen ratings, they are so interesting. I know our family was selected one year to do that. And we had these pagers that we had to carry everywhere we went so I could pick up on what music the supermarket was playing, what we were listening to in our car, what we were watching in TV, just incredible analytics out there.
Yes. And I was a person analyzing that to tell the company a story so that we can create products that will meet you where you are. And now that's how good companies create magnetic brands.
I love it. I love it. So tell us, Maureen, one of the questions that every manufacturing company has, every product-based business is, how do we increase sales? And, you've obviously built some incredible brands. You got L'Oreal under your belt, Chobani, by the way, I love their yogurt, Dove and Lay's. How do these product-based companies, manufacturing-based companies build their sales?
First of all, you need to know what's happening, right? So the first thing, I'm going to do some little teaching here so that I can teach you how brands grow. So there are two ways for a brand to grow. It's being physically available and being mentally available. What does that mean? When you're physically available, you're present where people buy you. When you're mentally available, you're top of mind when they're making the decision to buy. So you need to ask yourself from a physical standpoint, are you present? If you're selling online, do you have the right visibility? Is your website layout fantastic? If you're selling in brick and mortar, are you in places where you're getting traffic? Do you have your visibility? That's visibility. Availability is, are you providing the items that your customers want? And then the other thing, which is what people miss, is, are you creating other products that allow you to bring a different type of audience into your business? So you're just not saturating in one space. That's a physical part. Now let's talk about mental. This is where it gets all exciting, because mental is, are you top of mind, right? So you need to ask yourself, when you're creating a product, do you have the fundamentals that people need in a particular space? Let me give a great example. If you are, I'm going to use skincare. What are the things that people look for in skincare? Quality, consistency, great packaging. Do you have those basics? Because if you don't have those basics, people won't buy you, because they're ranking you compared to what the standard category looks like, right? And then the other thing is, are you marketing in such a way that people understand how to use you and people remember when they need you? Think about it. When you're thirsty, what drink do you think about? I think about Coke. So I'll buy Coke when I'm thirsty. So how is your marketing structured, like in a way for people to, your customers, it's not the whole world, your ideal customer, to always remember you? That's number one. And then number two, you need to understand where the leaks in your business, because every brand, every product-based business has three customers or three strategies that you need to focus on. You're always acquiring new customers, you're always retaining the customers you have, or you're always reclaiming, meaning that you're looking for customers who previously bought you but haven't bought you in a while. Do you know which segment you need to focus on? The biggest mistake I see, people think about just acquiring, but you probably don't even need to be acquiring. If you're in manufacturing, that's not your strategy. Acquiring is mainly for for small businesses, because they need to get new customers. So it's those two things. Do you have the basic fundamentals of how business brands grow? And the second thing is, have you understood what opportunity you need to tap into?
I love that. That is intense. That is some real deep thinking and analysis that has to happen to do that. And so if you're a small business and you're, let's say, you know, a couple $1,000,000, half a million to a couple $1,000,000, where do you start to really become the brand that people think about? Like, how do you become the next Coca-Cola?
Mm. You have to spend time working on your brand. Because what happens is, what I have seen happen is, we work so hard on our marketing, but marketing is how people find you. Branding is why people buy you. So if you work on your brand, it takes just one person to get your business viral. Because a good business is a business that works and survives on word of mouth sales. So if you have that stream of revenue where you know you have a cult-like following, you have a community, then you know you're building a brand, and ultimately that leads to sales. So ask yourself, have you been focusing so much on marketing and you've ignored the branding side? If you have, then it's your time to talk about branding. And this is not how your color looks like. This is not how your logo should look like. It's more of, what is the why behind your product-based business?
I love that.
Mm,
And I think a lot of us, you're exactly right. We focus on marketing, right? We
mm,
focus on the Facebook ads, we focus on, just letting people know that we're out there. But in terms of actually building a following, a tribe, or a brand, now that we know the definition of a brand, that's not something that happens, right? That's not something that we're thinking about every single day in
mhm,
terms of doing that.
mhm.
And that's deep. So like in terms of building a brand, how do we go about really starting to build a brand?
Basic fundamental understanding your customer in and out. If you are the CEO of your customer, of your business, you need to be the voice of your customer. Like, your customer needs to be like a sister or a friend you talk to every single day, because once you understand that person, you're able to create messaging that speaks to them. And once you create the messaging that speaks to them, your marketing now works much harder and faster. And then you find the right sales strategies that will meet your customer where they are.
I love that. So how do you begin to really understand your customer?
Market research.
Okay.
Your people are not your people, manufacturers or large product-based businesses have a ton of data seated with them. You have an email list, right? How about draft a simple survey or question and ask your audience, what is it that you like about our product? What is it that you want to see more? How do you spend your days? What's your philosophy on what you're selling? Like, really get to know them like a friend. Then create a persona or a document that highlights who they are so that you know who you're actually talking to. And then from there, you'll be like, oh, this is where I can get my messaging from. So if I'm selling a fitness product, let's talk about fitness. And my customer is somebody who's overweight and is really, really looking for something natural and healthy to eat or drink. Then you know they're struggling with obesity. Let's use obesity. And what are they going to be looking for? A non-sugary drink. What are they going to be struggling with? Going to the gym every day. So if you're selling a product, your messaging will be around, you don't have to go and spend 2 hours at the gym. You can have this product that will still give you the same effects as you being at the gym for 2 hours.
Brilliant. I will definitely buy a drink that'll not make me have to go to the gym for 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Yes,
But
definitely.
people don't spend time doing that work. And so you're always spinning. And what do I need to write? What do I need to say? What copy do I need to do for my Facebook ads? So you're looking for the next big thing. Well, in reality, your insights are in your data. The answer is in your data.
Wow, that's amazing. That is really, really intense and amazing on that end. And so once you know your ideal customer, once you can speak to his needs or her needs and understand what the pain points and the very thing they want to avoid, right, which is going to the gym, how do you get front and center in front of them? How do you get in front of this ideal customer?
From the work that you've done, you probably know where they're hanging out, right? So if let's take back the example for the lady who's looking towards losing weight. So where would they be right now? As we're doing this, we're at the peak of the pandemic, so we're all locked up. So on social media, they're on Pinterest, looking for the next healthiest meal to make. So you need to be doing some Pinterest marketing there. They're on Instagram, of course, because they're looking at other people they want to be like. So you need to be on Instagram, right? They're on YouTube watching healthy people make meals, healthy meals. You need to be on YouTube. So once you know where this person spends their time, then you need to be there and meet them there, because that's where they're going to see your product and offering.
I love it. I definitely love it. That is some real juicy morsels there. And so you guys heard that, build your brand, focus on the brand before you focus on the marketing, because once you know your brand and you understand your customer, then you know exactly how to target your marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Maureen, with that being said, in terms of being able to do this, I guess, in an economical way, to be able to build a brand, get in front of your customer, really start to speak to your customer, what is the best way to do that? Because, we're obviously a profit first channel, right? What is the most economic way to do that?
Oh, that's a very good question, because this is a thing, Susanne. When you focus on your brand, then you'll actually start pricing accordingly. And the right pricing strategy gets you to the right profitability metric or number you're looking for. Because if you remember that people buy brands and not a product, the price does not become an issue. So when you're doing your pricing, you're going to focus on value-based pricing rather than cost-based pricing. Right?
I love it.
Because you think about Tiffany, you can find a paperclip at Tiffany for $1,000, and that same paperclip will be sold at the dollar store for $1. And people will buy the paperclip at Tiffany.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Don't leave that paperclip though. Don't leave that paperclip anywhere.
And the reason they're doing that is because Tiffany knows there's somebody who's going to buy that. They know there's a customer for them.
Right.
And that
Definitely.
comes, and the higher the price, the value you put on your product, the higher your profitability will be. Like if you have factored in all the elements that go into pricing for a product-based business.
And I love that. And that's exactly starts the conversation of positioning at that
Mhm.
point, right? Because
Mhm.
now we're positioning our product to target an ideal customer that's willing to pay a certain price point. And you're right, Maureen, you know, profitability is impacted by pricing, right?
Mhm.
Because, you know, if you're charging too close to your cost of goods sold or too close to the cost that it requires for you to manufacture a product, it's very hard to make a profit.
Yes.
But if you can position it at a premium, like I always think of the Nike shoe brand, right? You know, they say that, oh goodness, I can never remember the amount of lives, or actually lives lost annually for a pair of sneakers, right? And you know, you can buy sneakers anyway. You can get Target brand sneakers. You know, my mom used to buy us Kmart brand sneakers when I was growing up. And they're probably all the same sneaker at the end of the day, but it's a brand that's commanding, unfortunately, the lives of young people because of
Mhm.
this brand. And so positioning is just, it just shows how powerful, you know, you can position a product. And, you know, I love the example that you give of Tiffany's, right? Because Tiffany's, they have a paper clip, and I have one right here, a paper clip. And, you know, and you can get a whole pack of them for like probably a dollar. But Tiffany probably sells this paper clip probably for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
What allows Tiffany's to sell this paper clip for hundreds of dollars?
If you look back to Tiffany's messaging, what would you say it is?
Tiffany, it's oh wow, that's a deep question. It's a blue box. I know that, a blue green box. You walk out of the store with a bag and it makes a statement. That is deep, Maureen. That is deep.
Think
It's
about
really
how the experience at the Tiffany store is. They've focused on the elements of a brand that matter the most to a customer, right? The experience, white glove service, those small things that we often think they're small is what they put emphasis on, hence giving them the reason to charge what they charge.
so it's the experience then. It's not just the brand, it's the entire experience. Just like you go to Disney World and nobody cries in Disney World. You're not allowed to cry in Disney World without being surrounded by 1,000 Mickey Mouses. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
It's about the experience. So
Mhm.
manufacturing companies, when you're building a brand, it goes beyond just getting to know your customer. It's about creating an experience associated with buying that. You know, I think of,
Mhm.
you know, unfortunately, what happened with Tony Heesh, from the founder of Zappos recently, you know, where he was recently, you know, he died in a fire. But, you know, I remember the thing about Zappos is they always outbeat your expectations. So
Yeah.
if you're thinking I'm going to get a pair of shoes in a couple of days, you'll get it in one day.
Yes.
Or, you know, they're always outbeating expectations, and they're delivering happiness, right? They're delivering happiness as what he says. And you know, and that's exactly what his brand is related to. It's about, I have an impulse buy to buy these expensive shoes, and I'm going to get it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And he's going to get it to me before I change my mind. And if I
Yes.
change my mind, he's going to happily take it back and send me another pair.
Exactly. Another store that really fascinates me is like the Apple store. Most of us buy probably our products online, but it's such a different experience when you go in store. Think about how many people go to an Apple store pre-COVID and they were just going to try the watch, the iPad, and probably wouldn't even buy because they can buy it online. It's that experience that will never, ever stop being part of the equation for a product-based business.
I love it. And the Apple store, I mean, like, you know, those geniuses, they just help you, and you almost feel bad and guilty if you don't buy
Exactly.
something when you walk out that
Exactly.
store.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
Wow, that is so interesting to us. Those are some amazing tips that you left us with, Maureen. One thing that I want to ask, before we close out today, if you could leave any advice for our viewers and listeners, and it can be personal, it can be business related, what would that piece of advice be?
My piece of advice now that you're talking to people who are in the multi-million and they're like, how do I continue to scale this thing? I would actually say that there are three shifts that need to happen. And the first shift, number one, is mindset. Like entrepreneurs should now start shifting from the grow mindset to the scale profitably mindset, because that mindset brings you the peace and the calm that you need so that you're not making decisions reactively, but more proactively. Like, pat yourself on the back and be like, I've done this, but how I've done it so far is not enough. I need to find a different way of doing it. And once you approach it from that standpoint, start thinking about scaling rather than growing, because those are two different mindsets. The second thing is money. And what do I mean about money? Sit down and create a worksheet or a profit plan to get you to where you want to be. Look at your revenue. Where are you spending more than you need to be spending? Are you paying yourself? Are you paying people that you don't need to be paying? Because you need to have a number that you're working towards so that when you're hiring somebody to help you scale, they know where to come in. And then the last thing is the method. Shift from tactics to strategy. Because what's happening, you're probably feeling the plateau because you're operating on a year-to-year mentality. And this is what happens. What you did last year is what you will replicate this year. Sit down, look at where do I want my business to be 3 to 5 years from now, and then determine what do I need to create to get there. If it's a new product, it'll take you a year to create it, but you have to decide what is the strategy I need right now for me to see something different 3 to 5 years from now. So it's mindset, money, and method.
I love it. And you're right. Before you launch, you really should be starting to create a following so that that anticipation is there. I think of Apple just because we're talking about Apple right now, right?
Mhm.
And before that iPad launches or that new iWatch launches, there are videos months before what it's going to look like. There's anticipation a year from before, just
Yes.
right after the new product
Yes.
already launched of what the next year product is going to look like, right? There's an anticipation, like, you literally just feel the excitement building. And so when it actually becomes available, you see the lines wrapped around the store, right?
Yes.
Because everybody can't wait for what it is. And I think that you say something really powerful too, Maureen. You said, focus on scaling, not just on growth, right?
Growing.
Because too many companies, they get into this mindset of, what, it's a traditional accounting equation, right? Revenue minus expenses equals profit, right? That's what
Yeah.
we're taught in school. That's generally accepted accounting. You're a
Account base.
finance major. And so Marie, you understand what I'm saying. And but what the problem is that is we're teaching our entrepreneurs focus on sales, sell, drop your price, you'll make up in value. That's what we're teaching them.
Mhm.
And then we tell them be responsible, pay your expenses, pay them off, be responsible, don't accumulate debt, and then whatever is left over is profit. And the problem with that is, we never focus on our end result. But when you focus on, like you said, Marine, scaling, creating margins that allow you to have those growth opportunities later on, that's really going to position your company to be much healthier later on. So that's brilliant. Thank you, Maureen, for sharing.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was an honor. And one more thing, so that our viewers and listeners can contact you and work with you and get more of your juicy morsels and experience, how do we contact you?
Oh, you can find me in my exclusive Facebook group. It's called Product Entrepreneurs Who Scale. So go into Facebook, pop into the search bar, Product Entrepreneurs Who Scale. 3 questions will be required for you to answer, and you will find me there, and I'll be welcoming you with a message in your DM.
Thank you, Maureen. And for those of you guys who are listening on with us or driving in your car, I am going to go ahead and put the link to Maureen's group in our show notes so that you can contact her and work with her.
Yes, thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Maureen. Thanks for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me.